The moon in Scorpio. It's no laughing matter. The moon in Scorpio is deep. The key word to understand here with the moon in Scorpio means intensity. Intensity. It's all about the intensity of the experience, the immediacy of the moment. Scorpio likes to stay in the dark, be unseen, unheard, undetected. If you are dealing with a man or a woman with the moon in Scorpio, be content with the reality that you will never know this woman or this man. You will die not knowing fully who these beings are. This is the moon in Scorpio. Watermelon martini with a lime twist. Okay? With a double twist and a double dose. Because I'm talking about Scorpio. No easy energy. It's quite offensive energy. Isolating energy. Frightening energy. But the most important thing to understand when we're dealing with a Scorpio moon is that it packs a punch. And that punch is intensity. My hand is cured, by the way. There's a scar. There's the car. There's the scar. See that? I lost a certain motor function because I was fighting with a Scorpio. But I'm an Aries moon, so I'm up for the fight. So I got maimed a little bit. I'm going to tell you about the other person. So understand that when you are dealing with a Scorpio moon person, you're dealing with someone who is secretive, is hiding. Not because he has anything or her, she has anything to hide. It's just that it's natural for them to stay hidden. They don't give a shit about you unless you are on their radar and their proximity. Otherwise, they don't give a shit about you. You're not even there for them. When the physical body is there in their mind, you're not there. Scorpio functions on a singularity. Linear rather than visceral. Direct rather than indirect. And the killer is his silence or her silence. And you never know what these people are thinking. You never know what these people are formulating in their minds, what they're calculating and thinking about you. Because it's about you. And if it is about you, you're blessed. Because the Scorpio is not going to waste his time or her time on nobody that they don't find valuable and important. So if you have a Scorpio, either the sun sign Scorpio or the moon sign Scorpio, be thankful and be blessed. That means there's something about you that Scorpio finds fascinating and interesting to waste his or her time in pursuit of you. That says a lot about you. This is the moon in Scorpio. It is that aspect of God that deals with destruction. The beauty of the cosmos that we experience today, with the sun and Mercury and all the other planets, and we, of course, are the third rock from the sun. That perfect, beautiful harmony would not have been possible without the destructiveness of Scorpio, which brought about the perfect order, which is symbolized by Libra, which is beauty through balance. So understand that the psyche of Scorpio is dark. It rules night. In Scorpio, there's more night than there is day. Remember, in Libra, we have equal day and equal night. When we move into Scorpio, it's more night than day. So we're dealing with the lower nature, the darker aspect of the psyche of every human being, and that of nature. They say that evil and good is relative because nature represents both. And this is a principle that we see with the moon in Scorpio. It is a very serious sign. These men and women make powerful enemies. You cannot beat them. You certainly won't destroy them. And you certainly will never get to know them unless they want to. I want you to know them. They have powerful sense of intuition and they are terrifyingly psychic. They know you. They know you. Be careful with the moon in Scorpio, woman and man. They'll see right through you. So if you want to be in a relationship with a woman, let's talk about the woman first. If you want to be in a relationship with a Scorpio, right? You're gonna have to come clean. You gotta come clean. You cannot hide shit. Not from the Scorpio moon woman or the woman with the sun sign in Scorpio. If you are a serial killer, she will know the man that you've killed or the woman that you've killed before she meets you. She'll see you in her dreams. In her dreams, that will reveal to her who you are. So if you're a serial killer, not only will she know that before you ring her doorbell, she's gonna know all the people that you've killed. Know them like if she knew them personally. Oh my God, the moon in Scorpio is deep. It's deep. The woman with the moon in Scorpio is an executioner. She's an executioner, but she doesn't know it. The universe will put her, in situations where she has to deliver judgment. And from the outside looking in, it will appear that she is an evil bitch. She's not an evil bitch, and she might be, but not because she's genuinely evil. She's designed to be this way, to bring balance to people who have done wrong. Scorpio, like Aries, is the executioner. They balance the scores. When the universe wants to, when they say payback is a bitch, think of the moon in Scorpio woman. Not so much the man, but the woman. She's dangerous. And these people are vindictive. They believe in eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Scorpios, like those born with the moon in Scorpio, they know who the evil people are. They know who the bad people are. They know who the good people are. They know the very essence of your soul. I've had women look at me and I just turn ice cold. Whether they're looking at me with desire or they're looking at me like to kill me. Either way, passion is passion. A woman can kill a man by eating him inside and out passionately through sex, one of her favorite delights. Or she'll kill you because, like in Fatal Attraction, she's a serial killer. And when she's out to kill you, she can be ruthless. Because the Scorpio woman and men can kill you in 101 ways. And they don't have to spill blood to do it. Okay. There is no sign in the zodiac that's as intense and as terrifying as those born with the moon in Scorpio. So if you cannot handle these people, leave them alone. They're gonna do you. It's no good to fight them. You won't win. The more you fight them, the more energy they get, and you are left depleted. It is the sign of the vampire. Think of Anne Rice, interview with a vampire, with a vampire Lestat, with what's his name, Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Anne Rice, a Virgo, wrote that book, Vampire Lestat. What? Oh my God, that movie should have won an Oscar. Tom Cruise, he killed it. He represents the moon in Scorpio, or the sun sign of Scorpio. He led Brad Pitt. He didn't even teach him. He kept him handicapped. He didn't teach him everything that he needed to know to be a vampire. He didn't spoon feed him. He allowed him to experience being a vampire through the faults and errors and follies instead of the rightful way. Because Vampire Lestat, if you know the movie Vampire Lestat, the book was written by Anne Rice. Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Tom Cruise was the more intelligent vampire because he was more experienced. But poor Brad Pitt didn't know anything. He became a slave to Vampire Lestat. That is the moon in Scorpio. Scorpios love to be in control and have power over people. So if you're not used to having someone control you and have power over you, do not date a Scorpio or a moon in Scorpio individual. Because if you cannot handle it, that will destroy you. It will destroy you. Run the other way if you don't have it in you to handle such beings. Now, let's go a little bit more academic concerning this frightening but very powerful and useful eighth sign of the zodiac. Understand that the moon in Scorpio individual or sets of individuals are intimate with the shadowlands of the psyche. These people are comfortable vibrating in the dark and in the lower trenches of the psyche of humanity. They love it. And so does Capricorn. Scorpio is content in knowing. He don't have to come out and show it. But in Capricorn, this same energy that begins in Scorpio becomes externalized when the moon reaches Capricorn. And here, in the sign of the devil, we see the actions of the devil be mimicked or be similar to those of Scorpio. Well, understand that earth and water are simpatico. So we see here the sextile relationship in the horoscope between earth and water. Water being Scorpio and earth being Capricorn. We see a sextile relationship with mathematically it's a 60-degree separation or application. This is where the mathematical aspect of astrology comes into play. But I'm not going to bother you with the jargons of mathematics. That I'm going to take care of that as a professional and just give you my interpretation about it without taking you through the jargon. So understand that what do I mean when I say that Scorpio moon women or men are comfortable with the lower nature of the psyche, which is dark? Well, that is the nature of the sign. It is. Nothing you can do about it. This familiarity with the lower nature of the psyche as it pertains to humanity. And this needs clarification. Understand that those born with the Scorpio moon don't have any intent of being assholes and bitches. They don't get up in the morning and go, you know what, I'm going to be a bitch today and fuck with everybody that I can. Or I'm going to be an asshole today and fuck with every nigger I can. No. These people born with the moon in Scorpio vibrate because if we're really going to tell it, it's about vibration. Everything throughout before we were able to discover all kinds of phenomena going on in space visually through the telescope, we had to rely on radio telescopes, radio waves, and through the radio waves captured by the radio telescopes, we were able to decipher many things of nature that we didn't understood. And we can also uh, expound on that when we're dealing with the visual, like the Cassini space probe and other kinds of space probes that capture the imagery of supernovae and all kinds of interstellar phenomenon. And we appreciate that today. And we have that both visually and audibly. You know, these are all principles of Scorpio. That which is hidden, that doesn't mean that because it's hidden that it is heinous or out of the ordinary or even spectacular. What makes it spectacular is the fact that it's hidden and we don't know it. Bacteria was spectacular when we found out what they were, right? And then it gets old. And then there's something else to replace it. So truth kind of functions the same way with people with the moon in Scorpio. Everything is relative and everything fits in nature. With them, everything is all right and everything is relative. Because at the same time, people, particularly women and men, they know that when you are born with the moon in Scorpio, you kind of have an understanding of human nature and you kind of have a glimpse of the overall cosmic truth about our existence. And at the end of the day, you realize that all is relative. Nothing remains constant in nature. Things either degenerate or evolve. So let's not get too caught up in the daily dramas of life because it's only a temporary station in nature. It's only a temporary vapor in nature. There'll be another vapor to replace it. And that might be worse than the one that just dissipated. Or it may be better than the one that just dissipated. But it's relative because pain and experience, desire and pleasure, all of that is relative. What's painful to you might be pleasurable to another. So there is no real line of demarcation when it comes to the moral ethos and pathos and values of those born with the moon in Scorpio. To them, it's all relative, all inclusive, and it's just a matter of how you perceive your experiences. Very clinical about it. You want to talk about unfeeling, lack of empathy? You're not going to find a sign more fitting than Scorpio, both sun and moon. All right. You all understand what I'm saying? Hope you understand what I'm saying. Okay. Now, those born with the Scorpio, with the moon in Scorpio, also have a very hyper sense of awareness of what's not being said, and they are very, very good at subtext. They know if something is wrong when you enter the room, or if they enter the room, and it might not be discussed openly, but they're gonna know from A to Z what the fuck is going on with you or the situation that they walk in. And if there's multiple people, the Moon in Scorpio person will be able to pinpoint exactly where the problem is coming from, and weave a fabric in that room of everybody involved. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It is impossible to trick them. They are impossible to trick, and they are very realistic. Just because you're passionate or extremely passionate, overly passionate, doesn't make you unrealistic. What makes Scorpios so frightening to people is that they're so histrionic. Many of them can be very histrionic and dramatic, and you know it's a water sign. It's emotional, but they can always be practical, pragmatic, and linear. How can this happen where you have so much passion and intensity, which is considered antithetical in nature to the linear, logical, logistic discipline of achievement that is required at the same time? How could this faculty exist in someone who's overly histrionic or overly intense? The equation doesn't make sense, but when it comes to Scorpio, it coalesces into a perfect balance, and we don't even understand how Scorpio makes that work. Because when it comes to the other signs of the zodiac, it doesn't really work that well or that smoothly. Many people born with a moon in Scorpio are secretive and are very sheepish of allowing anyone to get too close to them. No, and this is true if they've been hurt before. If they've been hurt, it will be almost impossible. It might take a lifetime for them to openly trust. You know, a lot of people born with the moon in Scorpio go through some intense breakups, intense experiences that it'll make people go like, "Whoa! I don't ever want to be in a relationship like that." You know, it is this capacity. Well, first of all, some of these relationships can be a matter of life and death with the moon in Scorpio. They don't, there's no middle ground. It's all or none. But you find those moon in Scorpio women who have been, who can be kind of like dangerous and suspect themselves. These are the women who have been burned in love. And if they haven't been burned in love, they've experienced it by seeing that through the experiences of their parents or those within their proximity. Right? And unfortunately, we're done with part one.